I almost got all that. Far right on the channel. I went north. About one around at 7. I didn't know, but I didn't know which officers were on it.
She says, oh, what is this big white?
I'd like to call this meeting of the Festus City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Here.
Councilman Underwood, Councilwoman Templeton.
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Councilman Dennis, Councilman Venz,
Here.
Councilman Cook,
Here.
Councilman Timmon.
Here. We do have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Tonight's warrants are $1,208,172.17.
So moved.
Sorry. That's okay. $643,245 of that 1.2 million is for the Jefferson County Dispatch and Police Capital. So that's for all our radios and everything that we've done. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent.
My apologies, and so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Venz,
Yes.
Councilman Timmon,
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Consent agenda has been approved. We will now have a presentation.
Yes, we have Reggie Flowers, some representatives from Spire. They're here to present the Silver Shovel Award to our Public Works Department, and excited that they're here joining us this evening. I wanted to say something, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to let you all know, first of all, thanks for having us up for this award. At Spire, we value safety as a commitment. We live by it. Part of this initiative in the Silver Shovel is recognizing communities that do it safely every day, meaning, you have to be in our service territory. You can't have a gas damage that is due to your fault to qualify for this award. So I will say in 2020, you guys did it right. No damages to Spire facilities. So we would love to congratulate you with this award. And if you notice, we put a few extra on here, so we plan on coming back. So,
That's a lot of pressure.
yeah, you don't get extra plaques. If we fill this one up, maybe we'll get you another one. We got more on here, so you can do it again next year.
That's awesome. I think we will. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can. Our corporate communications.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot, yeah.
All right, guys, smile, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And another one coming up.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. Take care
That little
now.
spark, I think, you said you were phone.
Well, it gets used a lot daily. I got a box if you want that.
Make sure it gets home safe. Back to the office.
Yeah, back to the office. We just goes on the wall. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, I'm proud to have accepted this on behalf of my department, but it's the hard work of the men that work for me that made this possible. I've got guys out there that mark these lines 8 hours a day, and the ones working in the field are very, very careful where they're digging and how they're doing it. So it's my crew that really is going to be the recipient of this award. So next time we get one of these plaques, I'll make sure they're here to accept it as well.
Yes, good. We'll have remarks of visitors.
Debbie Foster.
Hello, everybody. It's been quite some time since I've been here last, with all the circumstances, but I just came to ask about closing Main Street on October 9th for be our 6th annual, miss the 5th annual Street Fest. So basically the exact same thing we've done in the past. We're going to do 2 stages. I think we're going to go 2 to the last band will be on it from 9 to 11. So basically the exact same thing we've done in the past, nothing too crazy or too different, except we're going to try and change some of the music offerings this year a little bit. So that's going to be a little different than what we've had. So it won't be all like local rock bands. It's going to be a mix of mostly all local bands, but a mix of kind of genres. So trying to get it to where we have a little bit more of a universal, I guess, approach to everybody that can come down and enjoy what we have to offer. So.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Denny. I appreciate it. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Street Fest for Mr. Foster. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Mr. Foster,
Thank you very much.
have your Street Fest. Bids.
We have none.
We have no bids tonight. Our first ordinance is bill number 4639. If the clerk would please read bill 4639 for the first time.
Bill number 4639, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.160 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding nonconforming uses, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with state law, and establishing an effective date.
Bill 4639 is now open for discussion. Could I have a staff report?
If you see in your packet, Mark Harris provided a staff report on this and the 2 other ordinances to follow. This was unanimously recommended by P&Z on June 17th and basically tightens up our nonconforming uses, reduction in the percentage of damage from 75 to 60%, and also the amount of time that a nonconforming use can be continued from the time of that damage and destruction from, depending on what section of the code you're in, 12 to 24 months down to 9 months consistently through the code.
Is there any further discussion? Do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4639 for the second time in title only? Motion's been made. Second. And seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4639 for the second time?
Bill number 4639, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.160 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding nonconforming uses, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with state law, and establishing an effective date. Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Tinnen.
Yes. Bill 4639 has passed. We have Bill 4640 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 4640, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.375 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding the downtown business district boundary and uses and establishing an effective date.
Bill 4640 is now up for discussion. Could I have a staff report, please?
Certainly. These are the updates that we had discussed earlier this year. The code change was unanimously passed by P&Z on June 17th. It updates the uses that are allowed either by right or conditionally in our B3, which is our downtown business district. Very specifically, it eliminates packaged liquor from a use or a conditional use in the downtown business district.
Is there any questions? Is there any other discussion on Bill 4640? Do I have a motion? Yes. Yes,
Actually, one
Bob.
other comment I wanted to make.
Thank you.
There was the wording of this on subsection B20 about packaged liquor sales. One of the suggestions I guess I would present to the council is that because the way your code is written and the way state law provides that if you have a liquor by the drink license, you are also able to sell packaged liquor as well. So I do have some alternate wording for that subsection 20. I can pass that to a council member. I think I provided it to Greg previously. If you'd like to propose that.
That is what's in the packet?
Oh, it is what's in the packet?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay. I thought I had the older version.
Okay, yeah.
My apologies.
So, and to clarify or to apply it specifically, case in point, Denny, who just left, Main and Mill obviously has a restaurant, but also has the ability to sell liquor by the drink. They are also able to sell packaged, which they do, which are beer in cans. So this does not preclude that or exclude this, I should say. This would be specifically for a business that was established solely for the purpose or partially for the purpose of selling packaged liquor. I get that right, Brian?
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
I
thanks.
just want to make sure I had the right version
Okay.
here. So
Is there any other discussion? Now could I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4640 for the second time in title only? Motion's been made
second.
and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4640 for the second time?
Bill number 4640, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.375 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding the downtown business district boundary and uses and establishing an effective date. Councilman Tinnen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Bill 4640 has passed. We also have Bill 4641 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read that bill for the first time?
Bill number 4641, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.380 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding the Highway Business District boundary and uses and establishing an effective date.
Bill 4641 is now open for discussion. Could I have a staff report, please?
Yes, sir. As you see in your packet, this was passed unanimously by P&Z on June 17th. This is the change we discussed related to rental storage facilities for inside storage only. It has been added as a conditional use in our B4 Highway Business District.
Are there any questions? Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4641 for the second time? Motion's been made.
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4641 for the second time?
Bill number 4641, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, amending section 405.380 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Festus regarding the Highway Business District boundary and uses and establishing an effective date. Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Bill 4641 has passed. New business,
We have done.
old business.
In your packet is an old friend that some of you may be seeing for the first time, and other of you have maybe seen repeatedly over the last 5, 6, I don't know how many years ago. My predecessor, Mr. Welch, originally introduced the City of Festus City Council Code of Conduct. One of the things that has taken place since the last time we looked at this, and if you recall, that was in February of 2020, right before everything kind of closed down for COVID. It was an 8-page document. It was very wordy. It was also very repetitive or redundant in relation to what already exists within our ordinances. So this is a distilled version of that. Brian and his folks have had a chance to look at it as well. Everything is essentially the same, except the pieces that were repetitive were taken out. So it's boiled down very simply to just a general guidelines as far as conduct with staff. More importantly, conduct with the public, whether it's in a public meeting or in an unofficial setting. And then conduct with public agencies, the media, and specifically there at the end, kind of reinforcing the importance of attendance at these meetings. As we all know, Chapter 115 of our code does spell out how any council person could potentially be reprimanded, censured, or removed from office. That is a restatement of what is already in the code. But the mayor and I have talked about this, and I'll clarify, there was no particular instance. There has not been an incident that has caused this to come up here recently. This was just something where we had some perhaps time and space on the agenda to talk about this and to discuss whether or not we want to bring this forward as far as a resolution for the council to consider at the next meeting. But happy to answer any of your questions.
Hey, Greg, one question that kind of tie in. Limited contact part. It says that questions and requests should be directed to the city administrator. Then right below it, though, it does say under do not disrupt city staff in their job. It says city staff is accessible to county council members. That kind of sounds counter in my opinion. Like we should only try to limit our questions to you. Then right below that, it says that city staff is accessible.
They are. I think the two, if they were flipped, if you want to look at it that way, is that staff is accessible to obviously elected officials at any time. Certainly the departmental directors are all accessible. Anytime you guys need a question or have a problem or a constituent issue. But if it gets a little more involved or detailed where you're dealing with someone that's maybe not at that level, that it would be best to bring it to me or to the department head. And we can certainly clean that up if that's something that you feel needs to be tightened up a little bit.
Not sure how. That's why I asked a question and get some clarity on it.
I mean, I guess as far as talking to an employee, trying to, other than talking to him in a way, but I mean, to discipline or anything, yeah, I think you need to be with his department, but I mean, just to sit there and straighten him out, I don't know if that's right or not.
I don't think we should have any conversation.
That's what I'm saying. No conversation except for just general conversation. Right, exactly. I think that ought to be, any kind of discipline should go through the department head.
Absolutely.
City administrator, the mayor, or something like that.
Chain of command.
Yeah, chain of command.
The chain of command, that's exactly the way
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, that's
Should be
only
done.
the proper and, way to do something like that. I mean, you shouldn't sit there and holler or do anything like that to any employee.
No,
And that's just disrespectful, I guess, in a way.
Would it be preferable that, I mean, we can use the phrase specific to chain of command. I think most folks understand what that means and what that represents, and that would be something we could certainly include. I mean, I feel it's important for us for everyone to know, especially our elected officials. And it's, like I said, it's not necessarily for you guys. I think we all understand how things work, but say 2 years from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, that they understand that staff is accessible, but questions or requests probably are best directed to a department head or the city administrator. Certainly discipline of any sort needs to be to the director or the city administrator. But if we use the phrase that refers to chain of command, there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I need more clarity. That's all. I'm okay. Maybe keep me to dead horse.
Right, yeah, that's just respectful.
well, and here's the thing, Greg and I talked about, if we don't have something in writing that says, we all of us should act in a normal way. If you go out and get wasted and get in a bar fight, we can do nothing about it if we don't have a code of conduct that says you should conduct yourself in a manner which reflects good upon the city of Festus.
Yeah.
So, that's why I really would like to get this into a resolution for next meeting and finally get it to where we get a new councilman. He gets a copy of it, has to sign for it so that we all understand how we should interact with, and that's not saying, if you're driving by, say some of the guys in the street department are digging a big hole and you see something that's not safe, yes, step in right then. You don't have time to get them to stop and then get a hold of Matt or Greg and we get it taken care of. But if it's just every day, if I see the city workers out doing something, I like to stop by and say, hi guys, how you doing? What are we up to today? Well, we got a big water leak here and we have to get this fixed. Okay, that's fine. Have a nice day. don't get hurt, that sort of thing. But I think this is something that we need to do. And let's really look at it. And so we can get us a resolution and get it in writing for next week or 2 weeks from now.
I think you changed it. He brought up a gray area. Laws and ordinances are written so for people that don't necessarily want to follow laws and ordinances. So if you spotted a gray area, this is the time to say, barring an exigent circumstance,
Sure.
it just prevents any future need for any clarification whatsoever. There it is. That's
So-
what it is.
So specific to, respecting the chain of command as far as the way the city organization is set up.
Because you don't need people stopping by to say, hey, while you're out here doing this, can you go do this?
Understood. Understood.
There's a chain of command for a reason. It just precludes any other issues.
Is there any other discussion on this?
If you make that change, put more chain of command.
Sorry.
It works. If you make that change and put chain of command, do we still have time to bring it to a resolution next month if you disseminate it by email this week?
Yeah,
next week?
what I can do is we'll put some draft language together, have Brian take a look, but I don't think it'll fundamentally change the document.
Okay.
I think perhaps at the very top of this section, it says governing the city requires cooperation of elected officials to set policy and city staff who will implement and administer the policy. The chain of command, just in that header there, I think we can make it very clear that the city of Festus operates with a clearly identified chain of command, and elected officials are expected to follow that and respect that as part of a regular operating process. So I think we can probably do that pretty easily. If there aren't any other fundamental issues with this, I think we can incorporate that without too much trouble, get it reviewed, and then we could have the resolution at the next meeting. But if it's still not good, if you guys still have questions about it, then we've waited this long. It's okay if it needs another meeting for us to tune it up a little bit more.
So like protocol should be followed, chain of command, unless there's an emergency
Yeah,
situation.
and I think we can spell that out as well. If a council person, especially, for folks that have a skill set, obviously all of you do, and at one point or another worked in either the current field or another field that you were in previously. If you see something that doesn't look right, it's just an extra set of eyes at that point. And that's where it's perhaps, if it's a safety issue, then that's something that I think we would want anybody, not just, a councilman, but I think anyone to point out without putting themselves in harm's way. But, if you see behavior that doesn't look safe, then that's something I think we probably need to make sure we address.
Excuse me. I like this because it's not so detailed, and it has concepts rather than the details of the minutia. So I think you give yourself a lot more latitude when you speak broadly like this. So I like it. I like the way it's presented.
Trimmed it down good.
Yes.
If everyone's okay with that, then we'll put together a draft resolution along with a draft on this. I'll get together a little bit of language to put in that one section specific to dealing with our own employees.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's go into the mayor and city council reports. And I would like to make an appointment to planning and zoning. I have Mr. Michael Christopher here, and he is here. Michael put in an application, spoke to Councilman Cook and spoke to myself about being on planning and zoning. Mr. Christopher has a degree in physics, is that correct? And one in mining engineering. and is currently employed as a civil engineer. So I think he is a perfect fit for our planning and zoning. So I will entertain a motion to approve Michael Christopher as a member of planning and zoning.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Christopher, you are now on planning and zoning. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Okay. Councilwoman Templeton,
Nothing additional.
Councilman Venz,
Not too much. Things have been pretty good for, as far as Ward 3 looking, and I'm glad to see the roads coming along there, you know, on 3rd Street. Coming, I mean, man, they're jumping right on that. Firehouse, well, you jumped on that real quick, getting that approved and getting that done there. That looks nice. And, but the roads, I guess, the street overlays will be coming up here probably in another month. All the,
I don't know, do we have a start date on that?
I figured either end of July or from August. Usually that's when it starts. So. And that's gonna be nice to see the roads getting done and everything. Yeah. Yes, it does. But no, other than that, that's about it, sir.
all right, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Temple. I'm sorry. Councilman Tenen.
I have nothing, sir.
Councilman Boyer.
Well, I know it's not in Ward 1, but I go down Sunshine Drive there and I notice the speed limit signs are definitely working. You see a lot of taillights going down that hill. So that's definitely a good spot for one. Ben's Main Street is in Ward 1. I go down a lot of times and talk to the business owners and stuff and see how things are going. And I happened to be down at Pine Mountain the other day. Didn't have no ice cream either. But Tonda Breeze was down there, Chamber of Commerce, and they had it was like the new owners, they were congratulating them, I think, you know, and stuff like that. So that was good. And then they asked me to be in the picture with them. So I was in. I hope we didn't break no cameras. And I wanted to thank the police for doing a fantastic job around the holiday. A lot was going on. I know. I look at the police reports every 2 weeks and looked like there was a lot happening. So you guys did a good job. That's about all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Weiner.
I know we have our budget coming up somewhat soon. And I think that, you know, we do a lot of things really, really well here. And, you know, we've got our street program down, we've got sidewalks, we've done well with the police, with communications. You know, like maybe there was a void, for instance, with, excuse me, like with the fire department, you know, we've talked about, you know, a new firehouse. You know, people have talked about community centers. They've talked about redoing downtown. We've talked about tourism. I mean, there's so many things that we've talked about. And I kind of think that being the type of city we are, that I think we kind of need to look perhaps at like short, medium, and long-term goals. Like Stephanie, you know, she's done a great job with the, you know, getting the software running here. Barb, you've done a great job, you know. Josh, I mean, you guys are everybody's done a great job here. You know, Matt with potholes and all. I mean, you know, not to diminish it, but I mean, everybody's done their job here. But there's some really big things. And I would prefer, as a city council member, not to just react to Councilwoman Templeton saying, I think we should have a swimming pool, you know, and everybody goes, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that, you know, but maybe that's not and I'm not suggesting that you would say that, but I'm just saying that I think that there are priorities that we need to consider, and we need to prioritize them. And we need to look at, big ticket items and see how we want to do it, if we want to do it, and when we want to do it. So I just think we need to take that in consideration as we proceed. And that's all I have, sir.
All righty, thank you. Councilman Cook.
Yes, sir. Hey, Greg and Matt, any thought process? Got you, didn't I? A road bond for construction, when we have construction going on, have a developer or a company put some type of road bond in place to protect the city's interest when roads get damaged. What brings me to mind is front of the school. A lot of construction going on and the city's going to repair that. And yet there's no responsibility upon the party who caused the damage or who is, adding to the degrading of our roads. Has any thought been given to that by chance?
Those are called impact fees. Impact fees are used in a lot of communities around the state of Missouri and even the St. Louis metropolitan region. We don't have that type of fee structure for our building permits. So that would be something that would be new that the planning department and planning and zoning and Greg and the city council would have to think about. We have a lot of good resources around us. A lot of people with good experience. I think that sometimes members of the building community believe that can have a cooling effect on the housing and the development market when you change the fee structure. But when you see the effect that it's having on our roads, and I think when we have developments like Birchwood go in, not on a city street, but on a road that is obviously ill-sized for the impact that's going to be received, you have this imbalance. And then you have to try to determine, how do we cure this imbalance? And that's one way to do it. The other way is, we are, as a jurisdiction, have to step up our game and fix these streets in anticipation of the developments that come. And we just have to move our budget dollars there. And that's also another way that we can do that. Shane and I were down in front of the school this morning after we finished our Fifth Street final walkthrough. And that quite frankly was my staff's recommendation. Man, why this isn't fair? They're the ones that messed up our road. Why are we the ones that are stuck having to fix it? I said, well, our roads should be able to stand up to a certain amount of abuse, but obviously at this intersection, it didn't meet the mustard. So it's a tough decision. I mean, because it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to make some of these improvements that were needed on the different roadways as developments come and go. But we all have been to communities where there's been something put in and the roads weren't well thought about, maybe like Gravois Bluffs. We've all been over there and tried to get through when the roads didn't get upgraded the way they should have been when the development came in, and it's terrible. I mean, you want to pull your hair out when you go through there. So
How about if I just light the fire and let you guys discuss it and just bring a recommendation back at some point? My little world, I like to see something, but I'm one of 8, and maybe P&Z needs to be involved, and maybe code enforcement needs to be involved as well.
I think you bring up a valid point, though. Certainly the scale of the development. If it's 2 or 3 homes on a cul-de-sac, that's one thing. If it's 150 homes, or if it's a brand new baseball, softball field with a lot of heavy equipment moving around, all on city streets, I think you can put a value on the project and come up with a fair amount that perhaps needs to be assessed. And perhaps if there is no damage, by our own assessments, that's an amount that can be refunded as well. But I think we're all kind of reeling from the fact that development is happening in the speed with which it's happening within the last 2 or 3 years. Some of it is I think by good fortune, and some of it's because we're uniquely poised. But that also, I think, puts us in a good position to take a look at stuff like this and make sure that we have fair compensation for development that may take away from the rest of the residents being able to enjoy a particular neighborhood, whatever. So yeah, by all means.
It went off, I swear. I know we have budget discussions coming up. Could we look at restroom improvements at Kreitz Park? The one there, the main restroom at the playground's kind of getting a little abused. I'd like to maybe see if we couldn't do something with that. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, I think it's, well, the reason I went to the restroom today and thought it's gross in here. So I'd like to see if we could, during budget discussions, that something couldn't be done. Even
Actually, Josh and I were talking about that within the last couple of weeks. I know it's something that he's looking at. He's got a lot of things he's looking at,
Yeah.
but I think there's some infrastructure improvements that we can make up there that would make a huge difference in how that bathroom operates, but
Okay.
also some facilities as well.
Thank you, sir.
Is that it? All righty, thank you, sir. Well, I would like to thank Matt, pass on to the guys who went there by the sign on southbound 55 and took care of the brush, and you can actually see the sign when you drive by now, which you couldn't before because of all the brush. I threatened to go take my chainsaw and get in there myself, but I'm getting a little bit up in years to be doing that
What
sort
we
of
did
thing.
was we removed a harborage for animals. So it's a safer highway now.
All righty, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out pretty good. That's about all I have. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.